my wife's name out your fucking mouth!
I'm going to.
Legends as fast as it destroys them. One minute you're a shining star and the next everything collapses because of a single impulsive decision. From scandals and public meltdowns to legal chaos, these are the actors who manage to ruin their careers in seconds. And their downfalls will leave you stunned. Get ready for some catastrophic falls. Cuba Gooding Jr. From Oscar glory to public disgrace, the rise and fall of Cuba Gooding Jr. is one of Hollywood's most shocking stories. Back in 1997, he stood on the world's biggest stage, clutching his Oscar for his role as Jerry Maguire and shouting, "Show me the money," as the crowd erupted around him. It was pure Hollywood electricity. A moment of explosiveness that seemed to guarantee a long, unstoppable career. And for a while, that's exactly what it looked like. Gooding delivered memorable performances in films like Men of Honor and Radio, establishing himself as a charismatic, heartfelt figure on screen. But decades later, his name is synonymous not with triumph, but with scandal. It all began in 2019 when a woman accused him of groping her at a New York bar. He was arrested and charged with groping and sexual assault. Soon after, several other women came forward with similar allegations of unwanted touching and other inappropriate behavior. By October, journalists had indicted him on multiple charges related to separate incidents. The once-loved actor, warmth and charm, now faced headlines rife with accusations and betrayals. In 2022, Gooding accepted a plea deal, admitting to one count of forcible touching. He was spared jail time, but ordered to undergo counseling and remain on behavioral monitoring. His record would be expuned if he stayed out of trouble. A decision that angered many accusers who felt the consequences were far from justice. Since then, Gooding has largely disappeared from Hollywood, appearing in only a few small low-key independent projects, but his reputation has been severely damaged. Once a symbol of joy and energy on screen, Cuba Gooding Jr. is now a stark reminder of how quickly fame can fade when personal behavior overshadows talent. Will Smith, the slap that rocked Hollywood. For decades, he has been the embodiment of charm, charisma, and box office magic. From the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air to global hits like Men in Black and Independence Day, he was more than just a superstar. He was America's favorite leading man. Someone who could make you laugh, cry, and cheer in a single film. But on the night of the 94th Academy Awards, everything changed in seconds. When comedian Chris Rock told a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith's shaved head, Will initially laughed along with the crowd. Seconds later, he walked on stage and slapped face. A moment that was replayed endlessly around the world. As shock spread through the auditorium, Will returned to his seat and yelled, "Don't mention my wife again." The outburst instantly became one of the most infamous moments in Oscar history. Though Smith later gave a tearful apology during his Best Actor acceptance speech for his portrayal of King Richard, critics pointed out that he didn't directly mention Rock until the next day. The Academy soon confirmed that Will had been asked to leave and refused. Within a week, he resigned from the Academy, but was then banned from all Oscar-related events for 10 years. Chris Rock declined to sue, but the consequences were dire. Several of Will's upcoming projects were shelved or cancelled, and he became the butt of endless late-night jokes. In the years that followed, he lived a private life, slowly rebuilding his career. His 2022 film, Emancipation, received modest reviews, and he focused heavily on family, reflection, and spiritual growth. He's been teasing new projects lately, and even hinted at Bad Boys 5. But whatever happens next, that single slap remains a permanent mark on his legacy. Because in Hollywood, it's not always the rise or the fall that defines a legacy. Even a lifetime of greatness can be overshadowed by a single moment of lost control. A reminder, spotlight, every choice counts and every second matters. Thomas Gibson, the career-ending kick. For more than a decade, he was a familiar face to prime-time viewers. As Aaron H. Hotchner on Criminal Minds, he portrayed a tenacious FBI profiler who hunted a killer while fiercely protecting his family. Fans admired his strength and leadership both on screen and behind the camera, where he directed several episodes. For 12 seasons, Gibson was a force to be reckoned with until a violent outburst shattered everything he had built. In August 2016, during an argument with a writer-producer over a script, Gibson lost his temper and kicked the man in a fit of rage. Initially, he was only suspended briefly, but just weeks later, ABC Studios and CBS announced they were terminating his contract. Soon, Past conflicts resurfaced, including a 2010 altercation that left him in anger management. This time, there would be no second chances. Criminal Minds wrote hot, 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 hot. Hotchner off the show, explaining that he entered the witness protect his son. A quiet exit after a very public scandal. Since his firing, Gibson has stayed out of the spotlight, appearing in only a handful of smaller projects, including the 2020 film Shadow Wolves and the indie comedy The Writer's Bible. Outside of acting, he focuses on family, golf and photography, occasionally sharing snaps on social media. Despite rumors of a Criminal Minds revival, he has not been invited back. For fans who grew up watching him as Hutch, it's a sobering reminder. Years of success can vanish in the blink of an eye, and just one out-of-control moment can destroy an entire Hollywood legacy. If you found this story compelling, don't forget to like, ring the bell, and subscribe to support the channel because there are many more dark corners of Hollywood that we'll continue to uncover. Paula Deen Pauline, the sweet Southern belle, was undone overnight. For years, she reigned as America's culinary queen, the warm, butter-loving chef who turned Southern cooking into a national phenomenon. With multiple hit shows on the Food Network, best-selling cookbooks, and a chain of restaurants to her name, Deen built a multi-million-dollar empire. Her appeal went beyond recipes. It was her charm, laugh, and unabashed indulgence that made her one of the most beloved chefs. But in 2013, that empire collapsed in a storm of controversy that changed everything. It all began with a lawsuit from a former employee who accused Deen and her brother of creating a work environment rife with harassment, discrimination, and racism. The allegations were shocking, but what really brought her down was her own testimony. Under oath, she admitted to using racist slurs and even described imagining a plantation-style wedding with black men dressed as servants. The backlash was swift and relentless. Food